Hi there, this is Niki Rowland for UK Scrap Addicts, and our theme this month is to do some festive scrapbooking. I always do a December daily album every year, and this year is no exception. So here is what I've done so far. I go for a 6x8 format, and I make all of my base pages prior to December starting. So at the time of filming this is the end of November, and I've already, actually it might even be mid-November. I started very early this year, and I have done all of my base pages up to day 20. And today I'm going to make days 21, 22, 23 and 24 with you on film. And then there'll be a break in the video and we will fast forward a few weeks to the 10th or 11th actually of December, which is the day that I'm filming the second part of this video. I'm recording this, and you will see me then add all my photos and journaling to my already completed base pages. So you'll just see how quick and easy it is to add in the photos and journaling once all the base pages are done, and it's just such an easy process. I find it works really well for me. So to start off with, I'm just making a couple of base pages here. You saw my flick through of the album just a moment ago, and I'm up to here, so I need to work on page 21 and 22, and that's what I'm doing at the moment. I have this little cut file here. It's gorgeous, isn't it? It's by Just Nick, and it's one of the free files that came out for the 14-day giveaway. That was I picked up that one in that sale. I hope you did too. If not, it's available to buy in the store. And I'm just attaching that to the bottom of my left-hand page. All of my left pages are white, and all of my right-hand pages are pattern paper backgrounds. You can see that I've got the numbers there. They're little number 21 and 22. They are by Freckled Fawn, and they're little wood chip shapes, and they come in a packet from 1 up to 31, which is obviously ideal for my December daily. I go all the way up to the 31st of December. I have found these little numbers a really great way of doing my daily numbers for these albums. This is the third time I've used them. I did something else last year and then I've come back to them this year. I really love them. I think they're still available. I'll be gutted when they're not. I'll have to get a bit more inventive with my numbers. But basically I just back every one with a different pattern paper or a glitter paper, which is my favourite. And that really shines through the numbers, and it just gives me a great little detail on every page. So what you can see that I'm doing here is creating clusters. I'm working with the crepe paper Fa La La collection. The whole album is based on this collection. I have a few other products but very minimal, and I just create small clusters on my background layouts, so I've got plenty of space to journal and plenty of space to add photographs. I find that creating clusters like this leaves me loads of room, and it means that I'm not restricted in terms of how big my photos are. I used to add photo mats to all of my pages, so I'd have to make sure I took photos that were the right way round, and I could trim to a particular size, but that was a little bit restrictive and I found that a bit difficult, so I don't do that anymore. I just create clusters and leave us lots of open space and lots of places to put my photographs, no matter how they look, which way round they are, whether they're square, rectangle, portrait, landscape orientation. It just doesn't matter. I will generally fit them in. Also, whether I've got 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, I can usually fit in whatever I want, along with some journaling. So again, for pages 23 and 24, as you can see here, I'm creating clusters. I'm using the Fa La La collection. I've got the chipboard sheet, and I've also got the ephemera pack. I've got the 6x6 pack. I had all the 12x12 papers, which is what I made my right-hand pages with. I basically got everything in that collection, really. The buttons. I made some flare badges. I've got some smaller embellishments too. The little gold hearts that you can see there on top left, they're by Freckled Fawn. They're a couple of years old actually, but still totally wonderful for Christmas and absolutely ideal for my December daily album. I've got some other bits that I keep in my Christmas stash, basically, that I pull out every December, or every November actually, and just general things, generic things, glittery stars, little snowflakes, you know, that kind of thing, stuff that goes with anything Christmas. So here I am, just finishing off pages 23 and 24. I'm just making my number there for page 23 and getting that stuck in place. I try to make sure that all these double spreads complement each other in some way. So I'm mindful of where I place my clusters to make sure that when the photos are added, the whole thing will look nice and like it flows. And I try to use some of the same embellishments on both sides of the page. So I've just put those golden hearts in there. You can see I've put 2 on the left hand page and 1 on the right hand page as well. As well as all of my pages that look like this, that all go into page protectors, I also like to have some other things in my album too. So maybe some acetate sheets, some smaller pockets, different cards, that kind of, like different size cards, that kind of thing. Just like, here we go, I've got a piece of acetate there, and I just want that to sit as like a kind of like a page divider, just to give some interest to my album really, rather than just have every single page exactly the same in a page protector. This is just an insert. I could actually add extra photos to that if I wanted to, or I could just leave it as it is, just for, you know, because it looks pretty. And here I am adding a sheet of 6x6 paper from the 6x6 paper pad. I loved that paper, but it was a bit too busy to form a background, so I didn't actually use it. But the 6x6 sheet I've just cut and put some holes in it, and it's just added as a little insert. Here I'm adding another piece of acetate. I've actually got a 5x7 page protector there, you can see, and I've put the green trees acetate inside the page protector, but didn't really show up very well, so I put a piece of white card behind it too. And now I'm adding some embellishments to this side of it, but I'm adding those on the outside of the page protector, again just to add a bit of interest and difference to the album, to give it, you know, tactile feel really, so that you can see the different textures rather than them all being behind the plastic of the page protectors. So that's just, again, another pretty little insert. I won't put any photos on that one. I should think I might do on the back. Okay, so I'm pretty much done now. I'm just seeing if I can put any more acetate or vellum pieces in, but I haven't managed to make anything work. And that's it. That's my my base pages for this part of the video complete. So I achieved pages 21, 22, 23 and 24, plus I added some other little twiddly bits in between that I thought I would show you on film as well. So fast forward a few weeks, and suddenly now it's the 11th of December, and I am going to work on the first 10 pages of my December daily. So I've obviously done all my base pages, you saw them before. I've kept a diary, that's what the Traveller's Notebook was about. I've got some notes from every day in my Traveller's Notebook as to what we've done, so I don't forget. And I've printed off all my photos as well. I've printed them quite small, so they're like 2x3, I think, or even slightly smaller than that. I've already printed them all out and trimmed them. When I go through and choose my photos, I look at my December daily pages at the same time as I'm looking at what photos I'm going to print from those days. I tend to take a few photos every day. Whether they're of anything fun, Christmas related or not, doesn't really matter. It's more about, for me, December Daily is more about a diary and the things that we do in December, rather than Christmas traditions and making it really, really Christmassy. It's not about that for me. It's just about a record of what we've done every day in December. So yeah, I go through my photos and I look at the pages at the time, and then I can select my photos based on the amount of room that I've got. Usually I'd pick 1 or 2 photos for every day, and I'm just trying to make sure that they're the same orientation. It doesn't matter which orientation, just as long as they're the same, because having one portrait, one landscape often causes me issues. So you can see here that I've just done pages 1 and 2, just added photos and added journaling, really straightforward. Now this one's a little bit more, not difficult, but just slightly different. I've got page 3 there is straightforward. Just stuck a photo, just one photo on, so plenty and plenty of room for journaling there. So I'm just writing in what we did that day. Met that new tiny baby, it's very cute. Then I've got the this page here, the little white page there that you can see on the left. That is the other side of the 5x7 page protector that had the green tree acetate in it. So that needs jazzing up. I can't just leave it white like that, it's a bit too boring. I did consider it for a second. So once I finished my journaling on page 4, which again was straightforward day, I just added the photograph and started writing in my journaling. I can then move on to this little page here. So there is my Christmas kit. I've put it all out. Love these trees. That trees paper, it's one of my favourite papers in this collection. And given that the photograph I've got to go on that page is my Christmas tree, that worked out perfectly well. I wanted somewhere to be able to write, and I didn't want to write my journaling onto that Christmas tree paper because my journaling would get a bit lost on there. So I've left a strip of white at the bottom, so I'll be able to write on there no problem. And I'm just adding my photo. I wanted it to have a little cluster like all the rest of my journal. So I've added it onto a tag. I cut the deer from the middle of that tag, and he's going to be fussy cut and used as an embellishment. Just adding a bit of extra colour there. So I've put in a red label underneath my tag, and now I'm just tying some twine through that tag, and then that's going to go on there on top of that label, so a small amount of that label will show. Okay, so that's perfect, and now I have got room at the bottom to write my journaling. The little deer I'm fussy cutting right now will go just to the right of my photo. There he is. And I need a few little twiddly bits at the top there. So I've got a star paper clip there from the Fa La La collection, and those golden hearts that I love so much by Freckled Fawn. Now this extra little page could actually go anywhere in the album. It doesn't need to go where I originally placed it. I could have just undone the bindings of the album and put that page somewhere else. But this goes really, really well because I had the photograph of my Christmas tree. But as I put my Christmas tree up over a number of days, well, we had other things going on those days as well. The stories that I've written about in my journal are don't include putting up my Christmas tree. So that little page there is all about putting up the Christmas tree, so that's brilliant as far as I'm concerned. Okay, so moving on to a couple more straightforward pages here, pages 5 and 6. These ones just need photographs adding. See, I've got 3 on the left hand page there. That's pretty major for me. I normally stick to 1 or 2, and I'm just I always try to link the elements on my pages together with my journaling. So even though I had photos over on the right and a photo over on the left, I've linked the 2 together by writing the journaling in between. On this one here, again, just adding my photos, and I've already left a white space there for journaling because that tree paper again, no way you can write on that. I'd lose my journaling completely. So I'm glad that I left some white space on that layout, and I'm managing to write all my journaling into there. I use a grey journaling pen for all my journaling throughout my December daily album, but also on all my other layouts as well at the moment. It's by Graphic, Graphik, and it's called a line marker, and it's 0.3. It's the best journaling pen I've ever found. I love it. I've bought like 12 of them because they're just fantastic, and I journal a lot, so I don't want to run out of them. But yeah, if you're looking for a journaling pen that's grey rather than the harsh black, that's what I was never that keen on with the black, then I would highly recommend those. Okay, so moving on to pages 7 and 8. Page 7 is really straightforward, just add my photo and wrote my journaling in. Page 8, I couldn't find the place I was happy for my photograph to go. It just wouldn't tuck in anywhere particularly nicely, and it's a bit of a filler photo anyway because I forgot to take a photo of the main event of that day, really annoying. So I've stuck that actually top right, as you can see there, and I'm going to link that photo at the top left. I'm going to link the photo from the top left to the cluster in the bottom right by my journaling. I mentioned that earlier, and yeah, I'm doing exactly the same thing here. So now that all flows and is all linked together nicely. Okay, so now moving on to the next page in my book. You can see that I have got my page 9 on the left, and I've also got a small 6x6 filler page, if you like. That was that nice lovely houses paper that I've got there that I didn't quite know what to do with. I'm double-siding that, so I've chosen another piece from the 6x6 paper pack to go on the back of that, just punching some holes so that will just sit directly onto the book rings in my album. Again, I could put that literally anywhere in the album, but it works super well here because I've got lots of photos for day 9, so I'll be able to put some extra photos on because I've got that extra piece there. but it could have gone anywhere that I had a day where I had extra photos. Plus I can put as many of these in as I like, because I've got several papers left over from the 6x6 collection, 6x6 paper pad that still need using, so I can put those in anywhere. So anyway, here I am adding in all those photos, 5 photos from one day. That's unheard of for December Daily, but I don't generally like to scrap about scrapbooking, although I do like to scrap about spending time with my friends. So I might scrap them elsewhere, but these are just brilliant December Daily album photos because they just encapsulate the fun day we had, all cropping together, being silly, being Christmassy, doing lots of singing, and generally having lots of fun. Okay, so on to day 10, which was the day that it snowed. I'm adding some extra bits to this page because having snow in December is pretty much unheard of. This is a very special day and I wanted to make it really obvious that it was snowing. So I've actually added a title using those amazing wood veneer thicker stickers from the crepe paper Fa La La collection. Sorry, I've gone a bit off camera here. I'm zoomed in a bit and I'm not used to working in this space, so I'll realise and move it in a minute. Yeah, so I've that little page on the left, which is the back of the Christmassy scene paper, if you like, the houses, that I've added on the other side. I'm just making that a bit prettier with the title. I've added a big snowflake. And I'm now going to do some very bad stamping. I got a pack of the Snow and Cocoa stamps at the weekend, so I thought I would use some of those on my snowflakes on my very snowflake day. And yeah, I was terrible at it. I'm not very good at stamping. I really shouldn't bother. Yeah, I've got a few smudges. Yeah, several things went wrong with that stamping. I had a few that didn't press all the way down, so I had bits missing from the images. So anyway, yeah, so moral of that story is don't let me loose with stamps. Now that they're done, they look okay, not too bad. And I'm just writing in my journaling at the bottom, right at the bottom of that page, just trying to see there if I can get another stamp on the page, but decided against it after that disaster. Okay, so that is me done for pages 1 to 10 of my December daily journal. Are completely up to date. They all have photographs and they all have journaling on them. So I have in a piece, it's at the time of filming, it's the 11th of December, and I'm up to day 10, the 10th of December. So feeling very good about all of that. I will continue to make notes of all the things that we do every day. I do that at the end of every day, so that it will be just as easy to complete days 11 to 20 in 10 days time. Okay, so that was Niki Rowland for UK Scrap Addicts. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's quite a long video, but I hope it's inspired you to get going with your December daily and give making base pages a go. Thanks very much.